thank you for sending the album over. Technically twice, since I dropped the ball on that end, but
That's all good.
the album sounds great, and I'm stoked
Oh,
to talk
thank
all
you.
about it. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
yeah, dude, of
He,
course.
he got the sneak preview, so
That's my favorite perk of the job.
Nice.
getting the leaks.
Well, I guess my only question for you, and I know Alex, you just cracked one, but does everyone have an unopened beverage with them that they would like to participate in the opening
I
crack
do, I
with?
do.
A good eye.
Mine's open, so do it.
Oh, these alcoholics.
I was told, dude, it's in the name. It's very,
It's like
very easy.
I thought I had to drink the beer and then I come and join the band.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's
Assignments in the
also
title.
partially my bad. I was good for a while there, like sending email like reminders ahead of time. I'm like, hey, don't crack anything yet. We'll crack it like for the episode, and then like I spaced on this one. It's been February has been a busy month,
Oh, no
so
sweat.
I take partial blame for this one. Um,
Yeah.
but but yeah, so what I'll do is I'll count us in. We'll do this crack, and then I'll do the little intro, bring the three of you in, and we'll just have a good time.
All right.
Cool.
Sick. All right, in three, two, one. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This week, I'm sitting down with Northern Weather from Ohio. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. How about you?
Dude, I'm doing great. It's Tuesday. I'm ready for the week to be over, but I'm sitting down having some beers, talking with you guys. So it's going pretty okay.
Oh yeah.
For people that might not be aware, like I said, Northern Weather from Ohio. You guys are like an emo punk. Currently a three-piece. I think you just did add in have a new drummer, so we'll talk about him in a little bit. But before we get to him, can you kind of go around the room and kind of say who you are and what you do in Northern Weather?
Yeah. I'm Garrett. I play bass, and I guess I can say that I sing now too.
Nice.
I'm Rob. I play guitar and I sing.
Yeah. And I'm Alex. I'm the other guy who plays guitar and sings. And we all we all write music in the band too. So I think that's an important part to mention.
Yeah. Yep.
That's good that you all like. It sounds like so far it's pretty collaborative. Everyone gets to sing. Everyone gets a little writing credit in there. I mean, that's what you love to see with bands where everyone's so cohesive and like just open to everything to kind of create the full sound. Which we'll talk about you guys' sound here in a little bit, but like I gotta say, this new album is sick for everyone. I know this will come out around the time that the album comes out, so everyone just be ready. Or if you unless it's already, I gotta figure out my weeks, but it's out or it's about to be out. But just go listen to it. But before we get too far, like I kind of mentioned, you do have a new member that kind of joined the group to kind of sit out on drums and kind of hit some things. Who are they? And obviously, I just said what they do, but who are they?
You want to take this one, Alex?
They do hit things. No, I'm just kidding. Our new drummer is actually my cousin Pete. So like me and my cousins have another band called Nicky North and the Cardinal Directions, and we all like to play music together and write music. And when Kevin left the band, that was like my first instinct. I was like, "Hey Pete, you good to play in another band?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So he came over and we played a couple times. I think it was after our second practice with them. We were like, "Okay, yeah, this feels really good. Let's get Pete on board." So we were already jiving on that first practice. So it's pretty awesome having my cousin in both my bands now. So
Dude, hell
Northern
yeah.
Weather's a family band now, I guess.
Right.
it's true.
Well, like I normally say for members that aren't here, this is where we pour one out in their honor. By pour one out, I just mean we have a drink in their honor since they're not here with us tonight. So this one goes out to Pete.
Pete.
This one's out to you, Pete.
But that's awesome though that like you already had someone that was a good fit, and it translated well, especially in the first couple practices. Because that's the toughest thing is when you lose a member, trying to replace someone that was basically like family, and trying to stay on those same vibes. Obviously, you did replace them with more family, so it kind of helps out there. But
That's the trick.
that's awesome that worked, and also that you know I feel like everyone is always needing a drummer. Thankfully, they're always down to do more than like one project. So it
Yeah.
always works out.
Yeah, fortunately, that worked out perfectly, I would say. I mean, we had our previous drummer was with us for almost 6 years. So kind of that initial panic of, oh God, who are we going to find? Like, who's going to do this? And then the answer just kind of came naturally, and we're really grateful for that.
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. You know, yeah. Drummers are always the hardest to find, though. So that's why when it first
Mhm.
happened, Kevin said he's gonna move. I'm like, oh man, like they really are the hard. And like, you got to look for those drummers that are in multiple bands, like you said. That's the
Yeah,
trick.
I think
Well,
I
that's
think
what we
most of them
did
top
too.
out around like 5. Sorry, what was that?
Once Kevin said he was leaving, obviously I said some nice things and I was upset that he was going away. But I messaged another band like, "Hey, do you know any drummers that are available anywhere?" And so yeah,
What's your drummer doing right now?
Yeah, what is your drummer doing?
Can we
yeah,
do
we
like
did.
shared custody?
We luckily didn't
Shared
have to go
custody.
first,
That's great.
right?
No,
Shared
yeah,
custody.
that's great that you found Pete, and fills out the sound now. With Pete coming in the fold, obviously it was recent enough where they're not on this new album yet. They're
Mhm.
not. They haven't recorded any new music with you yet as of now. So I'm interested to see if there's a change up when you go to do like LP3 of like the difference between drummers in that transition. Just because it's always cool to see the backgrounds that drummers kind of like come from, and like the different flair that they put on this. Like I mentioned, you guys are like an emo punk band, and it's really cool to see. It'd be really cool to see like what Pete's background comes in and it kind of tweaks it a little bit.
Yeah, Pete
I'm definitely
is
interested to see too.
yeah, Pete's very technical. Um our last drummer was a lot more kind of driving a lot more with the pop punk style, and now we have somebody who really doesn't listen to any of that coming in. So it is going to be very interesting to see how our sound kind of morphs around him and with him. Um, so
I def
I'm also looking very forward
yeah,
to what comes out of this new writing phase that we're going into.
I
Um,
think definitely switching out a drummer will definitely make it sound different because yeah, like you said, Pete is about dynamics and trying out new parts. I mean, his favorite band is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard by far, so he's always game to try out some weird stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
yeah. But not to get too far ahead of ourselves and start talking about like what's on the horizon. Obviously, we haven't even
That's true.
hit chapter 1 yet. Um, like I mentioned, you guys are from Ohio. The first single, "Forgive and Forget," came out in like 2019, and then there was a handful of singles that led out after that with the debut LP, "A Shade of Melancholy," that came out in 2022. For everyone that's listening, please go listen to that as well. I had the pleasure of listening to that the past few days leading up to this, and it still holds up. It's still a solid jam. Um, it's also, I gotta commend you for doing a full length as like the debut. I feel like a lot of DIY bands really go like the EP route, but doing like waiting and just like collecting these group of songs to do a full length was like there an idea behind like let's do this other route that like most bands aren't doing to get this released.
So I remember
That's our
at one
secret.
point that's our secret. It's the family secret. Um, no, we had really planned on doing an EP to start with. And we kept running into a lot of different constraints, whether it been financial. I know 2020 we were going to do it. COVID happened, so that kind of just went to the back burner. Um, I feel like when we started practicing again after the initial wave of the pandemic, we started writing a couple more songs, and we were like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and finish up an album at this point. So we saved our money for a good couple years, and we made it happen.
I mean, Forgive and Forget was released on the 19th. I'm sorry, 2019,
Yeah.
and the album was 2022. So there's like definitely a long gap in which we were just doing like a single a year or something, and then throw down the album. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. I definitely thought it was awesome that we just went for the full album. Just it wrote as many songs as we could. I mean, those were pretty much just all the songs we had.
Yeah, more or less like over the collective of 4 years. So
Yeah. Some of those songs are really old. Like I feel like Forgive and Forget was written in like 2016 or 17. So yeah, it's definitely just a bunch of songs we pulled out there. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta I this I feel like has been a recurring like phrase or something on like recent episodes, but you know, just how every band has to like sit on music for so long before like they finally have like their exact release date. And like you said, Forgive and Forget came out in 2019, probably written like you said 2016, 2017, and it doesn't fully come out album version until 2022, and then just sitting on all those songs for so long. I think I did see like obviously you started writing like LP2 during that transition just because you could only deal with like the same set of songs for so long, especially when you were there from like the birth of them to the very end, and then you're just sitting on them, just like okay, like we've listened to these enough. We need to branch out and do something next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know
It's
we
definitely
started
Rob's
writing.
mentality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the worst about that. This album it hasn't even been released yet, obviously, but I'm already trying to write new songs. So
He's already
uh,
tired of what's out.
I don't know. And I understand. Like, I'm doing it, but I'm not pushing it hard because we got to get Pete up to speed and everything for our shows upcoming. Our upcoming shows. But I really, really like writing new music. So that's yeah. That's
And
It's
we all
definitely
do
Rob's
too, for
favorite part of the
sure.
whole thing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Don't even finish them though. You don't finish them. You just
Yeah, you don't always
half
have
of
to
one and then
finish
you
them.
start another one.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, yep.
And then
and then you
maybe
might
if you're
come back to
lucky
it.
enough, you'll write them
Maybe.
both in the same key, and you can mesh them together. So
There you go. Two songs
go.
in one.
It's happened many, many times.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's still a solid LP to kind of start off of like this is who we are. You know, besides the singles leading up to it, and for people that are watching the YouTube version, if you look over Rob's shoulder, you can see they have it nicely pressed on vinyl, which we'll talk about links at later in the episode. But make sure you go get a copy. How did it feel like that first time you guys got those vinyls in? Because like that's one thing that I'm slightly envious of every band that comes on that gets vinyl pressed. I'm a podcast. I should never have any of my episodes recorded to vinyl, or pressed to vinyl. It'd be funny. It'd be a funny joke,
That
maybe
would
one
be.
day. But like, what was that
You
feeling like? Finally
totally
getting to
should.
have one
That'd
of
be
those.
so great.
No, it was awesome. We got them, and it was just that fear of, oh God, is it going to sound okay? Is there an issue with the mastering? Did they mix tracks up? Did they screw this up somehow? Because we can't take it back. It's 100 pressings of the albums right here on my doorstep, and yeah, it is what it is. No, but they sound great. We got it in like a mystery color. So some of them were like this olive, like army green almost. Some were brown, and then apparently there were a few that were turquoise.
Ooh.
I don't know who. I know one of my buddies got one, and then somebody tagged us in a picture once that said they got one. But beyond that, I've only heard of those two. So I don't know how many people got one of those.
The rare turquoise.
The rare turquoise, the rarest variant.
I know, I wish I got that one, but I didn't. But that's okay.
I still have
No,
mine unopened right here, so I don't know.
oh,
Maybe I
mint,
have one.
mint condition.
Mint
I,
condition.
I thought it was just the coolest thing ever that we got it pressed. Really, this whole thing, I mean, obviously, it's been awesome writing music and creating art, but it's kind of like just crossing stuff off a bucket list for me, at least. I never thought that I would get a vinyl pressed. I never thought that we'd be signed to a label. I mean, we were never signed to a major label, but we were signed to a label. And then like the next thing is like going on tour. So it's really just a bunch of um, cool little experiences that a lot of people don't get to experience. So it's been great, especially with the vinyl and everything we've done so far. I'm just super impressed by and happy and proud of our band. So
Yeah,
Great.
I'm stoked for you guys. I'm stoked for everyone that gets to have that opportunity to press something and get out on the road and have all those fun times. I know that's some stuff that I miss about being not to date myself, but like 10 years younger and like being on the road with my friends in the van of just like hitting different spots and like, yeah, playing shows is cool, but like it's more just being in the van with your best friends and just like kind of fucking around in other people's cities. And trying all, to me, also trying all like the cool like niche spots. But you know, that's enough about my past. We're here to talk about Northern Weather, and I don't want to get too far into me. This isn't my story. Um, but so obviously, like I said, that LP came out in 2022, and then I can't remember. I forgot to write down when the first single from the new record came out. But so far, at the time of this recording, there's been 3 singles that have come out so far. And to not butcher names, I have them up on my other screen. And I'm probably still going to
Duh.
do it.
That's okay.
Dear
Alex
Dear,
does every day.
DM, Opportunity, and then most recently, Eddie Loves Debbie. 3 solid singles. I feel like, obviously, having listened to the whole album, 3 solid singles to start off this cycle run. With these being the first new singles after the LP, like what's the response been on them so far?
Great. I know that we've had a lot of plays on both Per Diem and Opportunity. Eddie's slowly but surely getting there. But no, I mean, playing them out
Still a
live. We've
youngin.
been playing them live for a little while here now, and they've gotten good response. So we're really excited for everyone to hear what else we got.
Yeah,
One,
I'd say
yeah,
definitely cool to see all the streams and such just coming in for all the songs, like just yeah. Spotify is really awesome, and just we try to, at least I try to make stuff for our social media. I know Garrett's helping me there and trying to just promote the songs, and some seeing some of that get rewarded is really a good feeling. So yeah, I like the singles we have out.
yeah. Well, I can't remember. I don't know who exactly I was emailing with, but like Opportunity popped up on one of my release radars, and then that's like right when I followed you guys to possibly set something up, and then I think we were on the same like wavelength. I think with that thinking, because I can't remember if I emailed you or you emailed me, but it was real close in timing. But I mean, because Opportunity, like I said, was the first song that I listened to, and then I went back and listened to Pure Derium. I'm butchering that so bad.
PD.
Diem. PD.
PD.
There you go.
Yeah, which was solid too. And then obviously Debbie Loves Eddie is such a great song as well to come out with. And I feel like Eddie Loves Debbie. Sorry, I saw the looks. I did that backwards, but that's okay.
Somebody loves somebody. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. One cool thing that I did notice too, kind of to bounce off Alex's point of like promoting them and getting them out there is a music video for Opportunity, which is kind of just the 3 of you, playing like GarageBand, and just like singing along to the song, which I really love the minimal style. So like I really enjoyed that. But one cool other thing that you have been doing is there's also piano covers and then like a lo-fi cover. You've been like kind of remixing your own songs as they're coming out to kind of branch to different audiences, and I really think that's a cool aspect to do that. I don't think I've ever seen anyone else be like, "Oh, here's our song that we just released. Also, here's a full piano cover and a lo-fi cover if you want that too." Like I love the thought to do that.
Full credit to Mr. Alex Styles for all of those things.
Yeah, it's definitely fun though, just to make music in general, and it's also like almost like there's a creative, I don't know, like a challenge to taking a song and just changing its genre for fun. Like I feel like we've always been like that in general, just like playing one song and all of a sudden we turn it into like a reggae version or something. Like I just like it's been fun to just go through and just take, make chill hop versions of the songs. Like it's entertaining. So, and I thought I might as well put it on your YouTube then.
we
Um,
um we had an idea for Eddie that I don't know if we're still gonna actually do it or not, but I want to do it. Was a sea shanty version of Eddie Loves
ooh,
Debbie. So we should probably get on
I
that actually.
started the Reaper project.
Oh, okay, it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah, I started the outline. I put like a bunch of like the sound of like a ship at sea in the background, and I was like, "All right, dude, we got to make this sea shanty." So
Yes. I'm excited for it.
it's coming.
dude, oh yeah, yeah, I'm stoked for that. Um, oh, I saw this TikToker recently that like he kind of blew up. He did like this one like emo pop punk song where he had like I think he dyed his hair black and wore like eyeliner and all that stuff. And then he's also done a few videos where he's done like kind of more rock songs. But then one that I saw most recently is he came up with like an Irish drinking song, and he's like standing by the river and like they're singing along to it. And it's a great song, but it was just cool to see like kind of bouncing off of doing the different style versions of just like doing different just styles in general to kind of mix everything up. Um, so I'm really stoked to see what this
Yeah.
sea shanty version is going to be like.
That
It's
should be
gonna be
cool.
great.
Yeah.
But these three singles are leading up to uh, LP number 2, the sophomore version called Uninspired Pop Songs. And I gotta say, listening to everything, there's nothing uninspired in here. It's a great listen to all the way through. I think it's 12 tracks in total, and I want to talk about some of the names here in a little bit. But like overall, for people that are listening, wait till the episode's over or pause and then come back. But definitely go listen to this album. It's a ripper all the way through. Like there's the way you guys have the whole album laid out, and like just the songs in general, like you're captivated, you're going with it, and like there's not like a really lull moment throughout, so it's really nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
awesome.
But like I said, there's some great songs in here that I really love. um and then there's also some that just have some kind of fun and interesting names that, depending on how much you want to dive into everything, we can kind of break down some of them. Like a couple songs that I really want to point out, and just because obviously we see the three of you here, um, there are two features on this album. One on Dunzo 500, which is great name. And then I'm gonna blank. Is it on Melatonin or Sweetgrass, Montana?
Sweetgrass Montana is the other person featuring. But fun enough, our dear friend Leah, who features on Dunzo 500, does do the harmonies in Melatonin as well. So she's on both.
Okay.
Technically, yeah.
Technically.
Like what was it like bringing them in to do it? Because I love the harmonies in Melatonin, but then like getting to Dunzo 500 and then hearing like the whole backing vocals and like kind of the contrast through it to kind of end out that song, and like just how that song is being the end of the album. I really loved that, doing that option. Like how did that idea come about?
So for Dunzo, I know that when I wrote the song, the lyrics, I always pictured it being like the first verse was one person's point of view and the second being someone else's. Um, and we knew that we were going to be trying to get somebody else to feature on it. We just weren't sure who. And then I think it was at a party at Alex's house, if I recall correctly.
It was.
Um, yeah,
Yep.
okay. Leah and I were talking,
Mhm.
and she was like, "Oh, like I sing. Could I sing on one of your songs?" And I'm just like, I mean, I guess. Are you good? And then she's trying to play like a recording of herself at this party, and I can't hear it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I messaged Alex, and I'm like, hey, can Leah sing? And he's like, oh yeah, she can sing. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I was
Without a
like, yeah,
doubt.
of course, you are very welcome to come in and do it. And she just knocked it so far out of the park. Like I'm
Yeah,
so thrilled with how she did.
I think my favorite part about it, because I mean, Leah definitely was even willing to like take some creative liberties too, and like was even coming up with ideas and generating ideas with us. And I think that's like a whole nother level of just, I don't know, awesomeness. Because yeah, it was cool to write music with because she's my brother's wife. So to write music with my brother's wife is pretty cool. So
Sister-in-law, right?
yeah, there you go,
Yeah,
sister-in-law. Thank you,
sister-in-law.
Rob. That's what, there's a word for it.
Yep.
You know, getting back to the whole the if I was good at editing, I'd have Vin Diesel come in and just say family real quick.
Yeah,
You have your sister-in-law featuring, you have Pete, your cousin, now playing on drums. Um,
yep,
full rounded family band. But yeah,
exactly.
I loved that feature. I and then I know you mentioned that in Sweetgrass there's a feature. I don't know if I pinpointed exactly where that feature comes in.
Yeah, that's towards the end there, right before like the outro part and then the instrumental in that heavier part. So that is Michael Morris from Mudwhale,
Hmm.
who did that feature. Mudwhale's another local Cleveland region band that we're
Yeah,
that we're good
I've
friends
listened
with.
to
So,
them a little bit.
oh,
Also, shout out to them.
awesome.
We're today's for people that are wanting like constructs or whatever. Fochella Seven's lineup was released today. Mudwell is playing Fochella Seven, so shout out to
Sick.
them. Yeah,
Yes, that lineup is
Nice.
killer.
yeah, it's so killer. And I tweeted this. I was like, I already have FOMO because I know that I can't make it to this year's Fochella
Oh.
already.
Oof.
So one of these years I'll make it out there. But yeah, like this album's great all around. One other cool thing that kind of happens at you start off the album with Model T Jamboree, and like the initial sounds are kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, sound like you're trying to like on a radio trying to pick the right station, and
Hmm.
then it leads into this album, correct?
Yeah. So it's not quite a concept album, but it's a concepts album, I guess you could say. Because
There
at
you
the
go.
very end of Dunzo, the radio starts up and then it leads into Model T. So I view Dunzo as kind of the start of the story. Um, and then Wildflower, the song before Dunzo, as kind of being the end of it.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to pinpoint when I got to the end of Dunzo if it was supposed to be like loop back around and like do
Yep.
that. So that's cool that it does. And adding that in there. Uh I always love like when those little features are added to albums just to kind of make them like a little bit more unique than just hey, we're just gonna play 12 songs and just do nothing.
Yeah, it's fun to come up with ideas like that. Just
Hmm.
trying to make the, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the more we want to try that, probably even more, and just keep working on. I don't know. I mean, I love bands like Pink Floyd and stuff, and just how they all like tell like a story almost. So it'd be cool to dabble in. I like the idea. It's a concepts album and further that idea.
Yeah.
For sure.
Um, but like I did mention, there are some good song titles on this. Like we've already kind of talked about Dunzo 500. I feel like Tennessee Sipping Water. That's a very like I'm sure that's like a very niche like just joke, which we could talk about too. But Model T Jamboree, that's also like kind of just it just really rolls off the tongue. I really like right like how those came out. Like, what are some of the deeper meanings behind some of these like song titles to
All
make
right,
it to the
Rob.
cut?
I say, Rob, you should talk about Tennessee Sippin'.
Okay. So just I work, I guess, like I work on garage doors, so I'm a service technician. I know that's a job, believe it or not, that's a thing. You get paid pretty well to do it. People don't believe it, but it's a thing. So when I was in training, me and this guy named Jason that I still work with, we went to this guy's house and we fixed his door, obviously. And he wanted to give us a tip, and he was gonna tip us in moonshine. Um, so he brought out a jar of moonshine, and he's drinking it. I wouldn't give you nothing I wouldn't drink, here. And he pulled out two fifth bottles that were empty of something. I don't know, Parrot Bay, whatever it was. And he's filling them up, and he's
It's like
drinking
2
this
p.m.
moonshine. And as far as I could tell, he was sober before he drank it, and now he's getting drunk. He's stumbling around. So he takes a swig and he goes, "This is some good Tennessee sipping water. You drink this shit on Tuesday, you'll wake up on Wednesday feeling the same way." So Tennessee sipping water. I'm like, I got to name a song, or we got to name a song, Tennessee sipping water. So that's where Tennessee sipping water comes from.
There you go.
As bizarre as that was, it was a crazy experience, but I'm glad we got a song title out of it. So there you go.
All right, Robin. How does that name connect to the lyrics in the song?
Not whatsoever.
Not at
Would
all.
have been funny. Would have been funny if it would have been like, "Oh, we came up with the song lyrics while drinking the Tennessee sipping water."
There you go. All right, guys. New plan. That's what we tell the next
Good
podcast.
story.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's great. Did you at least try some of the Tennessee sipping water?
I wanted. Well, Jason took it, and he actually.
Careful, they're listening.
Who?
No, I'm just kidding. Go on.
He took it and he cut it in with apple cider. So he did give me a little bit of it. I didn't get to try the straight moonshine, but I did drink a little bit of it. And it was okay. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was that great, but the guy liked it.
Did it taste like that apple pie stuff? That like Old Smoky, like
a little bit? Yeah, I think he added. I think he was a little afraid of like alcohol poisoning, or
Fair. I mean, yeah,
so he
probably made this in his bathtub.
The apple cider.
That's true.
The guy was drinking it, and he seemed to be having a good time.
He was alive.
I'll give it a shot when I get home, but he took it from me. He's like, "Nah, I'm gonna mix this with something." I'm like, "Okay, fair enough."
That's great. And then the Model T Jamboree. I'm a part of the Akron Model T Club, and it's basically just a bunch of older people and me who drive around Model Ts. And so that's where it came, because then every year in Ohio, there's the Ohio Model T Jamboree, and all the Model Ts in Ohio descend upon one location, and for a weekend they drive around their cars. So that's where we got the name, was the Model T Jamboree. So
well, the best part about it was how long did we know how long did we know Alex Garrett before
5-6 years
discovered this? Yeah.
Yeah.
And one time he came to practice and he wore a Model T Jamboree t-shirt. There it is.
Oh, he's got it on.
Right there, maybe. Greater Akron Model T Club.
No, that's not the shirt, because the shirt you had actually
was
said
like Model T Jamboree or something. It said.
Oh yeah, because we were just like, what the hell is that? And you're like, oh yeah, like me and my dad, my brother, we drive Model T, and I'm like, you do what? you do what now? So yeah,
you know, like Henry Ford.
Yeah. So no, I know we kicked that around for a couple different songs before it became the song that it is now. So that was another one that we were just like, yeah, we have to make a song title with that. It has to be done.
Oh yeah. So now obviously you have to have like some merch that includes like a Model T at some point, right?
Definitely.
That is something we for sure want to do. I want to put on a shirt. It would be great.
That would be.
I gotta say, out of like everyone I've ever talked to, I think that's one of like the most like niche like hobbies and that I've ever heard, and I love it entirely.
There you go, Alex.
Thank you.
You're unique.
It is a pretty random hobby.
But yeah, like I said, this album is great. It's front to back, no skips. I know a lot of people are going to be wanting to know, like, because you have an album release show happening at the end of May. I think it's on the May 25th, if I'm correct.
You are correct.
See, I do my research sometimes. But for people that are going to be going to that, or they're going to be flying in from all over the world because you've now been on the podcast and they need to see what this is like in person. Like what can they expect from like a Northern Weather show?
We're really trying to make this one a good bit more special. We're gonna have Leah there, doing her features as well as jumping in on some keys for some of the songs. We're playing it front to back, so we want to have a little bit of like video aspect coming in with it too. We want to make it the best show that we've ever played, which we try and do every show, but I think this one's really going to be
every show.
we want to get better as we go.
So
I would say we will have a projector. So there you go.
And hopefully this LP show, they won't tell us to turn it down.
Oh God, yeah.
What?
Yeah,
you told to turn it down on the last one.
Yeah, we played the Euro Gyro in Kent, which is one of our I guess hometown spots. Yeah. We play there a lot, and it's a place that used to have shows like all the time back in the day. Doesn't really so much anymore. So we booked the show. They were kind of confused as to that there even was a show happening that night.
That's how you know it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, for real.
It starts like that.
For real. And I think it was like before our second to last song or something. They were like, "Hey, like, can you guys turn down?" It's like, no.
I just remember.
Let me just go back and turn these drums down real quick.
So, that was a good time.
Yeah.
At that point, that's when you just play harder.
Yeah, exactly. That's fun.
So no, we are at an actual venue that is expecting us this time. We will not be told to turn down. I know that for a fact.
That's great.
Now, for the millions and millions of people that can't make it to Ohio for this album release show, are you going to be doing any touring to kind of help promote this album at all this year?
Yes, we are working on it. No hardcore plans as of yet, but we definitely are going to be trying to get out there in the summer and fall this year, and then hopefully spring of next year we're going to go back out again and hit some places that we've been wanting to get to for a long time. So, yeah.
Well,
rock and roll.
Everyone be ready for those dates to drop, and make sure you catch Northern Weather in your neck of the woods. If not, drive to someone else's neck of the woods and see them there. But be ready for those.
Do it.
I also got to commend you guys on the album artworks and everything for this album, because they're the colors in general are just really vibrant, and they work really well together. But then if anyone's looking at the main cover art for this, it's kind of just, there's a lot going on in the simplest terms. I'm looking at it right now. Like, we have a pit burning in the middle. We have some ominous figures up top. We have someone that's just chilling, smelling the roses, it seems like, and then we have like an odd figure coming out from the background. Like, what all is going on, and like, how did you guys come up with like this amalgamation of stuff that's happening?
So I do have to say, all of our art is by someone by the name of Christian Arnder. He does just amazing work. He did our first album cover and everything associated with it, all the singles, and has done all the singles and art for the second album as well. As far as the cover, we kind of gave it to him and just told him to take the wheel.
Nice.
I guess at this point we kind of trust him to do what, like, we send him the album and say, okay, listen through everything and do what you feel. So this is apparently what he felt, and it just works. We have the floral theme, like with the guy picking the flowers in the front. So I mean that that hits on that. Um, Everything else, yeah, I don't really know if I could explain it, but it sure is pretty.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's totally fair. I love how it came out, and that you gave them like artistic vision to just do what they felt was right, and then this is what they came out with. So, props to them for putting this all together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely fun just going through and looking at the art and trying to figure out, where he got certain parts for lyrics and such, like the bridges burned and such, or the cultists, and I don't know. And I also like how the whole album to me looks like one big ink blotch.
Mm.
Like you see in a
Mm.
psychology room, like it looks like something that I don't know. But I do. It's like the little Easter eggs, just going through and seeing all the little lyrics that he's put in there. So it's fun. It's like
Yeah.
where's Waldo, but more advanced. I
Where's
see a
Northern
cat.
Weather?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Baker.
One question I haven't brought up in a while. At least I don't think it's been a while. Depending, time's a construct, so don't worry about that.
Exactly.
But uh, you know, I like to pose the kind of like the Warp Tour question. So let's say everyone's in line to get into Warp Tour. You're outside trying to hawk some CDs, trying to get people to listen to your band. You have X amount of time with each person, about like one song's worth, to be like, here's my band. Listen to this song. You'll understand us or you won't, and then kind of move on. What would be the song that you would pick off of this album if you had that scenario?
For me, I would say Perteridium. It highlights all three of us as singers. It's quick, it's snappy. It's got kind of the element of everything that we go after in this album, I feel like.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I would say if there was one quick snapshot of the band, it would definitely be PD.
Hmm.
Edie.
Uh, yeah. I mean, probably that, or I would just go out on a limb and probably show them Wildflower. Just maybe
Oh.
that would
Oh wow.
captivate them enough, you know.
If you can listen to Garrett sing and still be cool with this, then you'll be good for the rest of the thing. We
Oh,
promise
you're
you.
Don't
gonna
focus on the vocals. Just listen to the
love it.
music. The music's cool. Um,
Oh God. The bass player has to make fun of himself. Come on now. Self-deprecation. No. It's fine.
There you go.
I mean,
Yeah.
solid choices all around. Um, you know, I was having trouble. It's always tough for me to try and pick like a favorite song off an album, especially like the one that I usually gravitate towards is usually the first song that I find, just because I end up listening to it so many times leading up to listening to everything else. So like, Opportunity is probably like one of my top songs on this, um, and that's not to say that there's any song on this that isn't a contender. Like, there's so many good songs on this. Like we kind of talked about, Dunzo 500 with the use of that feature, pops it up to at least top three or top five. Um, but overall, like, this has been a great album to listen to, and I just hope that everyone else enjoys it as much as I have.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I hope so
That's
too.
awesome.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
Opportunities, my favorite song off the album. So
Oh.
You don't say.
you don't say.
Never
I
would have
mean,
guessed.
I,
like, not to like hype the ego too much, but like, especially like the line, and I'm gonna butcher it too, of like, uh is it a wasted opportunity, or am I just
what is it? Am
Am
I
I wasting
wasting
potential or
potential or
potentially wasted?
potentially wasted?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasting my day away.
It's such a good line. My plan was I was gonna have that actually memorized and like just throw it
It's
in the
gonna be really
conversation.
cool.
Yeah, I was just gonna be like, they'll never suspect this, but like, I couldn't even do that, which is okay. It's okay. But it's such a good line. It's such a good like song
Thank
in
you.
general. And again, that's not to take away from any of the other songs on this album. they're all great and amazing. And it's been fun to listen to. Like I said, no skips, great time.
No skips.
Like the year.
That's pretty impressive.
Straight bangers all the way through.
Now I know, I've kind of jumped around a lot on this album. We've kind of talked some features. We've kind of talked some of the videos and different aspects to songs. But is there anything I'm missing that you guys want the people to know about for these songs or Northern Weather in general?
Well, I guess it'll be known by the time this comes out, but New Barktown's going to be the fourth single, and we are going to have a music video out for that was pro-filmed, and that it should be great.
Like
We've
a
seen a
legit
rough cut
music
of it,
video, not on a phone.
not on a phone. Yeah, I mean, we saw a preview of it, and it looks awesome. So we're pumped to see the final product very soon.
Dude, hell yeah! Stoked. I'm stoked to check that out when it drops.
Thank you.
And just to see what all happens in it, but like everything around it,
Yeah.
But are there any plans for any other songs to get like kind of remixed or music videos in the future?
Not immediately. I know we've talked a little bit about doing like a reimagining session, and I'm not sure what that'll look like, especially with a new drummer in the mix now. But hoping to maybe take some songs like from this album and maybe even from the first album, and kind of breathe some new life into them a little bit.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, nothing concrete though, so to be determined.
Yeah, and I'll still probably be making some chill hop versions and piano versions.
There you
of some
go.
of the
There you
songs,
go.
So, that's always fun to do.
Now, Alex, with you doing that, is there any song off of this that you haven't done yet that you're most excited to kind of rework into that new style?
I was gonna say, I think I'm looking forward that the next, because Sea Shanty is probably gonna take up Eddie for its reimagining instead of the techno that we did. Like Chill Hop was Opportunity. I had like a 16-bit feel for PD, and then I think I'm really pumped though for New Barktown because Garrett gave the idea of like a chill wave kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna see if I can really like nail that chill wave itch, that like very spacey, atmospheric. I don't know.
I really want to work with you
New
on that too.
Barktown,
I
I'm
think.
pumped. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'll be fun.
Well, everyone be ready for those. We'll talk links here in a little bit. Be ready for that music video, which should obviously already be up and have multi-million dollars worth of views.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And the reimagined songs as well. But as we start to transition here, this is obviously Beers with Bands. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes because I would definitely do that for you. But I know the three of you have some fine beverages in front of you on this fine Tuesday. What are y'all drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a Fresh Air, which is from Treehouse Brewing up in Massachusetts, Charlton, Massachusetts. Bomb brewery. I went there. I went on a Boston trip a handful of months ago and brought back a case and been loving them.
Nice.
Are you, Rob?
I finished a White Claw Ruby Grapefruit.
That's definitely the best flavor, by the way.
It was the easiest to grab out of my fridge.
So. There you go.
There you go. And I'm drinking a Twisted Tea. So I never drink these. These are just, I was struggling to find some alcohol, and I just opened my fridge, and from like 2 Halloween parties ago, I saw a Twisted Tea, and I was like, you know what? That probably aged well, so I cracked her open.
Aged Twisted Tea.
Yeah, did it age well at least?
It did. It went straight down. Actually, I don't drink them very often, so maybe it was actually like poisonous and I'm gonna die in an hour. But I mean, that time will tell. But now I got a White Claw, so
There you go.
Nice. I started the episode with a good old hams because can't go wrong with hams.
Ooh.
And then I did also partake in a nice good old Colt 45 because you know you got to have your Colt 45 moments as well. I'm a cheap
Classic.
beer kind of guy, obviously. If people can't tell,
There you go.
yeah. Cheap date.
I almost grabbed a PBR, so
Mm.
I almost did as well, but then I was like, do I really want tall boys right now? It's still early in the week, so I held off and at least grabbed some hams.
dude, whenever I think of like early house shows, like when you were playing in like 2015, 16, or 16, 17, 18, like it was just PBR. Everyone was drinking PBR at these
Oh
crappy
yeah,
house shows, just handing them out like water. It was great.
They'll
yeah.
give
I
a couple
remember.
18 packs, and yeah.
Yeah, I remember I went to this house show. It was someone's birthday that was putting it on. There was like multiple bands, and then there were also like in between bands in the changeover time. You'd go and like it was all in a basement, and like they had like burlesque happening in like one of the rooms. And I just showed up with like I had gone to the liquor store before. I showed up with like a full 24 pack of just PBR. Spent like probably 15, $20 if that. And it's just one of those cool moments too because you're like in like a basement show atmosphere, so everyone's just like chilling, vibing, and you're just like, handing out beers to people. Like you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I need to keep at least like 5 to 6 of these, but everything else, like I'm not gonna finish. So obviously, just hand them out.
At least five
Passing
or
out, yeah.
six.
Community pot.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
People
like
of house
I mean,
shows.
for the basis of this show, it's always been PBRs because like starting the show, and this leads into the next segment. I promise. Like me and my friends would always like tell each other the same stories from our time at music, but we were in the van together, so it's like, dude, I lived your story, like I was already there, like you don't need to tell me that. So then we kind of always thought back to like hanging out with our friends and like talking about stories or just bullshitting about like what their band's doing and stuff like that. And usually it's at a show or right after a show, and usually the cheapest thing at the bar is a tall boy PBR. So for like 90% of these episodes, I have tall boy PBRs because that's how I want it to feel. Um,
Hell yeah.
and we talked about your bands, what the new album, everything that's going on with it, and this is where we would kind of just casually transition our talk to adding in some stories. So this is the fun storytelling part of the episode where we kind of talk about some fun stories from time of music, whether it's shows, tours, time recording. Obviously, you have a music video in the works, so I'm sure there's some fun shenanigans that happened during that as well. As I normally say, they can be anything horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between. Um, like the way I like to think about it is think about the stories you always reminisce about with your friends. Those are usually the stories that everyone loves to hear.
I'm usually the one to start, but I'm thinking right now. I'm like, oh God,
We
stories.
don't
I
have
don't have
good
any
times together.
stories.
It's
I would say we
not a
can't
lot of
stand
fun.
each other. Oh God.
Man,
I don't know. I'm
I'd
trying to think
say
about. Go ahead, Alex.
like I mean we've definitely had some shows, like I don't know, like I'm sure some bands might relate where like you're just like we go to the show and there's like no one really there and we're like, okay, we're just gonna have a hot raging time, and we maybe have a couple too many drinks because we're feeling confident,
Oh,
and then we go up
Oh
on
yeah,
stage and like those are definitely some crazy shows. Like
all right.
I don't like listening to those recordings, so
Okay, I'll go.
but it's fun. It's fun, dude.
yeah.
I got a good one for that since you're on that topic. This was a long time ago before we were Northern Weather. We were another band before. It doesn't really matter. But we were playing this place in Barberton, Ohio, which is
Yeah, this one.
yeah, this one.
Yeah.
It's a little suburb area of Akron. And we played this bar that was, and you can't make this up. It's just perfect. In the basement of a Kmart. So like you drove around behind the Kmart, which was like one of the last Kmarts I think in the country. Um, you go down these stairs and then you are in this bar, but the stairs were optional. There was also a slide to go down into the bar.
Yeah.
People rolling half stacks down the slide was fun.
I remember that.
Yeah. We played I think like second, And before that, we go up to the bar, and the bartender was like, "Oh, I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't want a beer." And she was like, "Oh, I'll make you something you'll want." So I'm like, "Okay, go ahead." So she pulls this liquor bottle over that was called Diesel. I've never heard of Diesel liquor before, and have never heard of it since. And I had two of
It was
those,
made in a
and
bathtub.
it probably was. I had two of those, and I do not remember much of that night at all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they tell me I was quite nimble on stage.
Quite energetic.
Yeah.
You had a lot
Was,
of energy up there, dude.
Yeah.
The best compliment. You had the best energy, man. We had a lot of energy that night. It's a very energetic night. As you can tell, it was perfect. It was great.
The
But
whole all
I mean,
five people really loved it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, those are definitely some of the shows I remember most fondly too. Though I mean, like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
just those bombastic shows where it's just, I don't know.
That was the drunkest I ever was at a show for sure. I've never been that drunk again. I don't know
Yeah.
if I've been that drunk since that time at all, period. That stuff wrecked me.
Oh no, you were pretty drunk at my housewarming party. You lost
Oh
your wedding
yeah.
ring, and
My wife knows it's okay. We can
yeah,
talk about it publicly.
you were pretty drunk then. I remember.
I was pretty plastered that day. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if I was as drunk as I was at that show though. That Diesel just wrecked me.
I got pretty
Destroyed.
messed up at that Annabelle show.
Oh,
That's the show I
That
was
one was
thinking of when
bad,
I was
too.
telling my earlier story.
ooh,
Yeah,
that was
that's
a
the
rough
kind of
show.
stuff where you get up there and forget what you're supposed to play.
Oh, dude, I remember playing a whole song, and I wasn't even anywhere close to being where I should have been on the fretboard, and I didn't, I didn't realize it till like halfway through the song. I was like, oh,
Yeah, no, that's the same one. I
put my
remember.
fingers in the right spot now, But yeah, it was that one was bad. That one was really, really bad.
That was.
You got to
not a
get the
good
bad
show.
ones out. You got to get
When
the
you
bad
delayed
ones
the
out.
show, how long did they delayed that show? Like
Oh yeah, we didn't play till like
hour,
11.
2 hours? What
Yeah,
are we
Oh,
because
is
the
that
sound
the
guy
one where
didn't
the
show up.
sound guy was
Right.
arrested?
No, that was another one. That was another one that was also terrible. I don't think we were drunk, but that show also really sucked.
Well, the cup
came in.
tasted like bleach, so I didn't want to drink that at that show.
Oh God.
Yeah.
But yeah, we came into this show at the Dome, which is no
Oh.
longer a thing anymore. But
Nope.
they were like,
Thank
"Yeah,
the
the sound
Lord.
guy got arrested. The bands are on their own." So I had to go over and like figure out how to work an entire PA, which I mean, it wasn't that hard, but I mean, I was the sound guy that night.
Yep.
They just pointed over to it and said, "We don't know. The sound guy's in jail. Do it." So
So he did, and we sounded fine.
I mean, it
Fine-ish.
was
Yeah.
hard to sound good in that place.
That is true.
was
The
hard to sound
acoustics in
good.
there were just
when it's
terrible.
called the Dome, it's very hard to get good acoustics. So
It's
And that's not
quite
like the
literally
Sphere
a
in
dome.
Vegas. That like
Yeah.
not at all.
yeah, it's quite literally a dome.
Jeez. Yeah, I remember one time we were coming back. We had just done a run out to California, and we were on our way back. We had like 3 more stops before we got home, and we were like on our way to our second to last stop, which was in Kansas, and we got word from the band that was supposed to play with us that they were like, "Hey, so and so never got the day off of work, so we're not gonna play the show, and also we're just not gonna be there." And we're like, "Oh, that's fucking cool." And it's like it was only supposed to be us and them playing at this bar. So we get there. There's a guy from like the local paper there to interview the band that I'm touring with, which we were just a bunch of like nobodies from Iowa. So it was kind of funny that they were like interviewing them. But then like normally for every show I would have, as the tour manager, I would have a limit. Like you have a 2-drink limit before you're allowed to play. Like
That's smart.
Like that's your maximum.
smart.
If you hit 2 drinks, you're no more drinking until you're done playing. Once we find out that like we're done recording and that the other band is not going to show up and we're in like this dive bar, they all turn to me and they're like, "Dad, is the rule in place tonight?" And I was like, "Just go for it." Like the bartender felt bad. He was giving out some like free drinks. It got to a point though, like halfway through the set or so, like our lead guitarist like fell back into a monitor, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, we gotta go." Like we have a hotel. Just the show's over. We just gotta go. We gotta leave.
Oh my goodness, dude, that's crazy.
Oh man.
So they had a sound system though, right? I mean,
Yeah, they at least had something.
okay,
At least there's
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Um,
man.
not. I guess I can't really talk a whole lot about it because he isn't here to defend himself. But the former drummer I know got really plastered at one of the gyro shows. And that was the year, if you guys remember, that we brought a ton of people. Like that place was wall to wall that night. We had probably over 100 people there, which it's a little tiny like bar pizza place. It was you could not move in that building, and he
Yeah.
was just everywhere tempo wise, and I'm like, holy shit, this is bad. Like
Yeah,
I know we
it's
cut at least one song out of that set because we were like, nah, this is not going well.
dude, you're a good manager. A good manager sets a 2 drink limit because that's definitely
I
that would have saved us that night.
Yeah, yeah, it would have.
It was kind of nice too, though, on that when I would tour with them, because like it was only me and one other guy driving the van, so like we would alternate days of like who's allowed to get fucked up.
Mm.
And I took full advantage of the days that I was allowed to get fucked up. I will say that.
That's awesome.
Um, uh, no, I've told that story enough. I probably shouldn't tell that one. I had a thought of something, but I completely lost it too, which is okay. I might or might not cut it. Probably won't. So I mean, we've obviously talked some like drunk show moments, but like there's got to be some good ones on the other end of the spectrum of like some fun show moments that you've experienced too, right?
Oh, for
No,
sure.
no,
No.
no.
Those
Yeah,
aren't
just
I was
all
like, no,
terrible
they're all
shows.
They've all
terrible.
been drunk. They've all been bad.
Like, I don't remember any of those.
No,
Yeah.
no, we definitely had some
The
good
good,
times.
Hmm.
yeah, the good ones aren't as funny or as memorable. I feel like, but yeah.
They're
I mean,
memorable.
there's definitely times when I feel like we just do a good job. So I mean,
Sometimes.
we practice the same songs all the time, so I'd assume that sometimes we nail it. So we at least are good about regimented practices and such. So
Um, we've got some cool offers and have played a couple really cool shows at Mahal's up in Lakewood. Um, we played with Driveways last August, and that was really dope. A lot of people in that room that night. That was an awesome show. Um,
Grog Shop was a fun one.
we did play Grog. Yeah, that was a really good show. That was right after the first album came out, and it wasn't like the official release show, but we just kind of hopped in there, and that was a great show.
Yeah,
We played with at Mahal's as well, but in the little upstairs stage, we played with Trash and Moose Creek Park, and that room was packed, so that was really cool. So I would say since the first album came out, we've really had a good string of good solid shows with like a decent crowd coming out. Like even not if it's we get a decent little crowd for ourselves locally, but then we're getting in with these bands that also bring the crowds in, so we're able to kind of feed off of each other, and yeah, get a good group of friends together and have a party.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I will say that's the nice thing about Ohio. It's regionally in a great spot where everyone is kind of driving through Ohio, so like they might as well add a stop there. You have some really good like DIY spots, like some that you mentioned. Obviously, I'm blanking on the name, but where Fochel is held every year in Bowling Green, like that's
Howard's,
another,
yeah.
Howard's, yep,
Mhm.
is another prominent DIY spot. Like there's good spots there, and there's a good amount of bands going through there, where it's a great spot to like play those shows, make those connections, and like keep building from there. Because that's the nice thing about like any band that goes through there. Obviously, there's a bunch of kids rolling out to see them, but then they also see you. They see how you guys are on stage. They hear what the songs are like, and then they're following you too. And they're just like, "Oh, you guys are from Ohio too? What?" Which is always funny to me. In the best way of like, yeah, live right down the road. Like we played here multiple times, and then they start coming out to shows and just keep building from there.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
small town energy.
Right.
Yeah. I would say, especially since that driveway show, we've definitely gotten a handful of people that have been coming out. So that's been really cool.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
sweet when someone sings your lyrics. Yeah,
That too. Yeah,
that's
when people know the songs.
very
Yeah,
cool.
that's
Someone who isn't your your mom or something.
That has been happening. That's pretty
it's a good feeling.
bizarre. Yeah, I've always
Humbling.
wondered if I was ever gonna experience that, and then once it happened, I was like, wow, that's crazy. This is cool, you know.
Mhm.
It's very sweet.
It
Yeah.
is. That's a cool feeling. This cat
Now,
staring.
Baker agrees.
now, Rob, I know it like kind of the beginning of the episode. You kind of talked about being in a band has allowed you to kind of check off a lot of things off the bucket list. Touring, getting your album on vinyl. Obviously, now I feel like that's one of like people that you don't know singing back your lyrics. What else is left on this like quote unquote like band bucket list that you still want to experience?
So yeah, going on tour. We haven't toured technically yet. But that'll be once we get that together. That'll be crossed off. Um,
Smashing a guitar
smashing a guitar.
live
Yeah.
on stage.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Really, that's the only goals I've ever had, I guess. And so
And then going
once
platinum.
that's done, then I quit. That's it. We just
We'll never
gotta
hear
go
from
on
him
tour,
again.
I'm
Yep.
done.
Like all the boxes are checked.
Yeah.
Peace
Yeah,
out,
I
guys.
have what I need.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I don't. Maybe I don't know. We did get that offer. What's that place in New York City? That might be cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. Where you go and like record to vinyl, like you're live recording to
Oh,
vinyl. That would be sweet.
yeah,
That does sound like a pretty cool milestone right there.
yeah. Those would come out pretty sick too. Because like for the one that you're talking about, is it one where like you just record once and like that gets put to vinyl, or is it one where every because I think I talked to someone and like every pressing was its own recording, so like no
Yeah.
pressings were actually the same.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. You could go, I think you had like up to 12 or something like that. But yeah, they all went onto their own 7-inch.
That is pretty sick.
Mm-hmm. That would be a
That is
really cool
awesome.
thing to do for sure.
Yeah.
I like how when we talked about that, Rob was like, "I'd probably just buy my own performance." Like he said, at least get one
Nobody
of them,
can
right?
have
Like, which performance do I want?
I had thought it would be really cool to just go and like play the whole album, like the second album.
Yeah,
Is an idea.
I think I would purchase the worst performance just to get it off the market. So.
Yeah, I think I can't remember what band it was that was on, and we were talking about it. And I think their plan was like you could like pre-order a song, and whatever song you picked, they were just going to record that for you, basically.
That's cool.
And then just do however many takes they needed to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
So if someone wants, cool. Opportunity, or someone wants, Eddie Loves Debbie, they each get their own, hypothetically.
It is really cool. I like that idea a lot. And then the final frontier is getting on a video game. So there we go.
Madden.
Once we get on a Need for Speed, then we know we've made it.
Do they still put bands on video games? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay. I don't feel like it's not nearly as much of a thing as it was like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
True.
It should
People
be. It should still
Tony
be.
Hawk and Need for Speed as much. But...
I mean, that was how I discovered like all my favorite bands.
Right.
That's what. Me too, dude. I Need for Speed.
Yeah.
I did have some friends within like the last 3 or 5 years, depending on when that game came out. They got added to. It wasn't specifically NASCAR, but it was basically like a NASCAR game. I can't remember the exact title, but it was like one of those just oval track racing games. But yeah, it was cool to see like some like local friends get added to that playlist for that.
All right, that's a good new goal. I like
Yeah.
that goal.
Like his new goal, exactly.
Even better, we got to be. We should be played on in like an indie movie or something. You know,
Ooh.
or a
There we
movie.
go, or an indie movie.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Make
Romantic
that bucket
comedy,
list.
90s
Romantic.
style.
Okay. All right.
All right, cool. We can still be a band for a while because we got plenty of things to hit for Rob.
Yeah, we'll just keep adding them
Yeah.
so Rob stays.
It's only a couple of years and we can accomplish all these goals.
Then I'll be done.
Then I'll be done. I'll be free.
Kick that bucket.
I'll just evaporate at that point. Just
My
float
work
away.
here is done.
Rob returned to the ether from where he once came.
Exactly.
No, yeah, those are solid moments to add to the bucket list. Rob, I know you said you also want to be in, Madden. I think one other goal to add to this then, or bucket list item, is be featured on like a Monday Night Football broadcast. You know how like
There you go.
you see like some like pop punk bands get like recognized. Like I think Seaway's been recognized on like either hockey and maybe football. Like that'd be cool just to have those moments too.
That would be amazing.
ESPN.
What about we just do a halftime show?
Oh, okay. I mean, we can
There
do
you go.
that. Super Bowl
Yeah.
halftime. Okay.
Halftime
Canadian
show.
football.
Canadian football.
What's the XFL doing nowadays? They
Right.
need something,
Oh
right?
yeah, they merged. They merged with the USFL. We should do that.
So now all 20 of both of their fans can watch it.
Oh yes.
Oh man, these are good goals. I'm looking forward to see how many of these get checked off for you. Make sure you keep me posted. We'll have a running tally, not on the screen because I don't know how to add that in. But this has been a great time. Like I said, the album is great, and I'm super stoked on it. But and I know we've kind of talked about some like fun drunk moments, some good show moments, but I always like to leave off these episodes also on more of a high note than we already are. So my final question to the three of you is: since your time in Northern Weather, what has been your favorite moment that you've experienced so far?
Ooh, favorite moment. I would say for me, and not in a monetary sense really, but just in a oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. When we got the first vinyl pressed and seeing all the orders come in like the day of, that was pretty awesome.
I'm going to piggyback off of yours, Garrett. And when we actually sent the vinyls overseas, people, where did they go? They went to a couple different countries.
A couple UK, Portugal, a couple Canada.
South America.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just the fact that it wasn't just down the street or to people that we know, or people only in Ohio. It actually went overseas to different countries. That blew my mind too. I was like,
That
wow,
was pretty sweet. That's a good one.
This is really awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say one of my favorite parts is just being in the studio and hearing like one of those songs that you put a lot of time and effort into, and then hearing it come through like Steve's speakers or something, just booming through, and hearing it, and it's probably its best form, and that's always a really cool moment. And yeah, I mean, I we definitely write music for ourselves. I mean, that's all, we really have ever done. And it's just, we write the songs we like to write. But it's definitely a cool feeling when like North River Road randomly, blows up for a couple days on Spotify. And that's a cool feeling too. I'm like, oh, this is sweet. There's like, 8 people listening to us right now. That's awesome. Like, that's also another cool moment. Like,
Yeah.
and I'd say the number one is probably the lyric, someone singing your lyrics back to you, like a stuffy, bar show. So that's peak.
I mean, all solid moments. It's amazing that people overseas were receptive to the album and wanted copies as well. Everyone go listen to Uninspired Pop Songs. It is going to be out on vinyl. Are you also doing like a random color press for that one? I did just see like black in the mock-up, so I just wanted to double check.
Yes, it will be random colors, so we have no clue. I'm going to be ordering those pretty soon here, so can't wait to see what comes out.
Keep an eye on our website.
Yeah, yeah. If anyone's looking for merch, music, or northern weather in general, where can they find it?
So we just launched a new website, northernweathermusic.com. Um, you can link to all of our socials from there. Like I said, you can get the music and the merch on there too. So that's the best place to find us.
Yeah. Depending on where you found this episode, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, or you watch the YouTube version, got to see their lovely faces like I did tonight. Check the hyperlinks down below. Follow them on all the socials. Be ready for those future tour dates. Be ready for future music, LP3, um, and just like everything else that's to come. I know we didn't talk about it too much because I didn't want to dive into it too much, but I feel like we're at the tail end of this. I can ask it real quick. Is the plans to do LP3, or is there any chance of doing like EP1 finally and then going into LP3? What's the plan from here?
So I think the talk as of late has been maybe doing a couple singles kind of here and there, maybe an EP. All I'm gonna say is that I have started working on LP3 lyrically. It's gonna be really special, and that's all I'm gonna say for it now.
Hell yeah, leave the
Yeah,
people wanting more.
I'm definitely looking forward to trying, recording some singles and some ideas like that. I always like singles too, just to, put out some new ideas and such, some fresh takes on songs. So, but I'm sure LP will eventually be here one day. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, what we've learned also from the time schedule of your releases is you don't have to rush anything. You have these nice breaks in between where it sounds good. Like obviously, it's been 2 years since LP1 to LP2. Like the album sounds great. Like keep doing the method that you guys have because it's working, and I'm just stoked to see what comes next, whether it's singles, LP3, EP1, whatever. Like I know it's gonna, I know it's gonna be sick.
it's going to
Thank
be a
you.
ride.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
of course. One last big thank you to the three of you for stopping by on this Tuesday. I had a great time. Everyone, go listen to Northern Weather, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode.
Hell
See
yeah.
ya.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Bye.
Thank you. See you, everyone.